Ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure in addressing the conference of lawyers who have assembled here from different parts of the country for the purpose of discussing matters of common interest. At the outset, I may tell you that when my good friend and the secretary of your association met me and requested that I should take part in this conference and speak to you, I readily accepted the invitation because I thought it would give me an opportunity to meet my colleagues and also the young men and women in the profession. The chairman of the reception committee, in his welcome address, spoke about my knowledge, experience, and the services rendered by me to the profession as well as to the people in various capacities. I thank him sincerely for the very kind words he spoke about me. During the last more than 40 years, I had traveled throughout the country both on professional work and also to participate in a number of functions, and I had occasion to move with persons belonging to different walks of life. I know the conditions of our people before independence and also the steady progress that has been made afterwards on account of the performance of the successive governments both at the center and in the states. On this occasion, I remember with gratitude the great sacrifices made by our leaders for the liberation of our country from foreign domination and pay my humble respects to those great men and women because I feel that the tremendous developments that had taken place in our country would not have been possible but for their sacrifices. In this connection, I would like to tell you with a sense of pride that persons belonging to our profession took a leading part in the freedom movement, and it will not be an exaggeration if I say that they were in large numbers when compared to those in other walks of life. That was because in those days lawyers were in the forefront of the freedom struggle and took upon themselves the responsibility of shaping the public opinion against the foreign rule and by uniting the public irrespective of caste, creed, language or religion for a common purpose. They addressed large gatherings of men and women in several parts of the country and impressed on them that Swaraj was their birthright. We know that on account of their activities of this nature, they had to undergo a lot of sufferings under the British rule. The reason for mentioning all these things here is that we who are privileged to belong to the same profession can really feel proud about them and at the same time dedicate ourselves to play our part at the present moment in such a way as to inspire the future generation. I hope you will not misunderstand me if I mention the number of lawyers taking part in politics in recent years is not appreciable. I am drawing your attention to this aspect in order that you may think about it in all seriousness. It is my wish that in the years to come, lawyers should take an active part in politics in large numbers. The reason is this: if you take some more interest in politics and public activities, you will be in a better position to understand and appreciate the difficulties and problems of the people, and you can help to solve them either through the courts of law or by taking up the matter with the appropriate authorities. In turn, people will have great respect and regard for you, and I have no doubt that in course of time many of you will have ample opportunities to rise up to positions of power and responsibility. It is also my desire that more and more lawyers should stand for elections to local bodies, state legislatures, and the parliament, and I am sure that with their knowledge in law and public matters, they can serve the people better. My advice is that a lawyer should serve the people in such a manner that he should be regarded by them as their friend, philosopher, and guide. You belong to a noble profession because you will have to fight for justice whenever and wherever injustice is done to any member of the public. In a democratic setup like ours, you have an important part to play, and I would appeal to you to realize the sacred task handed over to you from generation to generation, and always fight for justice without taking into consideration the social or the economic status of the person who approaches you for professional help. No doubt it is your primary duty to argue the case of your client with a view to win the case, but at the same time, you should always keep in mind the spirit of law and natural justice. Lawyers had contributed their best at the time of framing of the constitution of the country. They had their role to play in the enactment of various acts in the state legislatures and in the parliament. Again, they appear in the courts of law on behalf of their clients and fight for justice whenever any legislation is interpreted by the executive against the legitimate rights of the people. Considering all these factors, I would advise the young lawyers to update their knowledge from time to time in order to safeguard the interests of their clients whom they have to represent, and also to serve the public in general. Finally, I would say that one requires courage to fight for justice, and a man can be courageous only if he sincerely feels that truth and justice alone should trump. I appeal to you all to remember this and work in such a manner as to help our countrymen to be brave and courageous, to do the right thing at the right time without any fear or favor, so that the democratic values can take deep roots in our country. I thank you for the opportunity given to me and hope that in the next 2 days you will have a free and frank discussion and come to very useful decisions. I wish the conference all success.